the Human Resource Manager for Uniserve Education for the last 7 years. I receive a lot of applications, and I'm sure most of you will be sending applications and looking for employment and all this kind of stuff. And so I'm so glad to talk to you about what you need to do. This is not the first time I'm doing this. I know that I've worked with this university. We've partnered before because I work with Uniserve Education, and you can see our banners here. Probably just to, before I say what I want to, I'll invite my colleague to mention briefly about what Uniserve is all about, and then I can give my remarks shortly. I'll welcome Dennis. Dennis is our academic coordinator in our office.
The chief guest, the government spokesperson, the Chancellor, Chuka University, the DVC, Chuka University, students, good morning, good afternoon. My name is Dennis. I'm the academic coordinator, as my colleague Hesbon mentioned. Particularly, I'm interested or I'm in charge of careers in the company, which has been in existence for the last 18 years. Some of us have been held by the same company and have come back to the same company to work for it. Simply what Uniserve does is to help you, place you in different universities globally. So I'm pretty sure some of you have seen us in your high schools, in the last, say, when you're doing your Form 4. And here we are again to give you a second time opportunity to go and be able to pursue your careers, your master's programs abroad, in different destinations from the UK, US, Canada, Australia, and all other regions. But importantly, I would like to emphasize a point that I've told other students. Please do understand that careers are changing. What was relevant in the last 5-10 years is no longer relevant maybe in the current market. So maybe as you do your Bachelor of Commerce as a student right now, in addition to that, what are you looking for, or what else can you be able to bring on board? That also answers the question of scholarships. I'm pretty sure most of you would be asking, maybe I have a first-class honors. Would I be eligible to apply for a particular scholarship to a different destination? Yes, it's possible to be able to apply for a scholarship, but also notice it's one-time opportunity which is given to you, to the same university in the University of Nairobi, to a student in the Nelson Mandela University in South Africa, and someone else from India. So the issue at hand is not you having a first class, is not you having a second upper, but there are a number of things that you need to be looking at as a student that would make you relevant. For example, how close are you with your lecturers, and how well would they be able to write for you a recommendation letter? How or what kind of community service have you been able to do while still in university? Yes, all of us have been given the same platform, but have you been able to volunteer anywhere, even for 1 month? Have you been able to donate blood, even for even a single time? So these are some of the things that you actually think they may not be able to count, but actually when you're making an application to the university, or when you're looking for an opportunity abroad, they would be able to count. Why are we still thinking about petroleum engineering? Why aren't maybe are we thinking about energy systems engineering, which is to deal with solar? Why aren't you maybe thinking about windmill? There's some courses that maybe we are not so introduced to that are very, very marketable out there. For example, do you guys know of a course called professional mourning? Your work is to help cry in the burials. A very well-paying job in the US. Very well-paying job. So simply what I'm trying to encourage you students, or I'm encouraging the youth right now, please don't just be tied to your environmental engineering. Don't just be tied to that medical course. Look into another opportunity, which again, I'm so glad that they've left. I'm just looking at it from a point of view. Remember when we had COVID last year in 2020, And one of the countries that I was really surprised to see them use drones in East Africa, and yet you are the leader in East Africa, was Rwanda. Again, can you look into that opportunity? Are you able to tap that? Again, another tip that you may need to know, not all of us are business people. Some of us are fitting so well in the corporate world, others are fitting so well in the business world. So it's very important for you as a student, before you get to say that I'm going to venture into business, try to figure out what your personality is like. Imagine an introvert going into marketing. Yeah? Imagine an introvert going into journalism. That may not be as successful as an extroverted person who may be able to get into that kind of a career. So it's very important as a student before you get to graduate in December to look into other opportunities that may be available for you that you can be able to venture into. We all have the same opportunity, as I said. How many of us have attended any leadership seminars? How many of us have been able to attend any leadership trainings? Again, you're looking for that particular scholarship. If one of you has done it and the rest of you have not done it, of course they are going to be considered. So what I'm trying to say is, don't just focus on getting a first class. Don't just focus on getting a second upper. Don't just focus on getting a second lower, but focus at what exactly are you getting and what other things or what other traits do you possess that would make you be of value when you are making an application. Attitude is very important. When you come for that particular interview, what exactly or how do you react or speak when you are asked a question? It would be very important for you to be able to possess the right attitude that would actually make you stand out in a panel when you're applying or when you have attended a particular interview. Remember, the current workforce is really turbulent. In that, different days or each and every day, we are getting different kinds of opportunities which require different kinds of skills. Right now, the current employer is not looking for you who just did accounting and finance. They're not just looking at that specific thing. They're looking at how many more things do you have or have you done that would make you stand out. So in as much as you did BCom, have you been able to do SCCA? You know? In as much as you've done journalism, have you been able to do something else like fashion? If you're so good in music, have you been able to go to class and maybe attain a bachelor's program? That's exactly what the current employer is looking for, as opposed to previously when they were so specific in what they were getting or what they were actually offering different students. Of course, it's very important for you to do the research. One of the things that I may also need to discourage you in a positive manner, don't just apply for scholarships because they are available. You may not be able to qualify for 90% of those scholarships. And you know what happens when you apply and you're not accepted? That you're the worst student. You don't understand why you're not being able to get a particular scholarship. It's very important for you to do your research before you make an application. And that is why Uniserve is there to be able to help you. For example, the UK offers fully funded scholarship. Even pays, gives you money each month for your upkeep. Again, what are the terms and conditions that are required for that? For the ladies in the house, we have so many women-related kind of scholarships. Again, the other issue could be, yes, you saw a women kind of scholarship, but only Asian women are being sourced for. So it's very good, it's very important for you as a student, before you get to apply or inquire or get to want to do a particular scholarship application, get to find out what kind of skill or what kind of opportunity is out there, and if you actually qualify for that kind of opportunity. We cannot fail to talk about networking. This is your first place to get your potential employers, to get your potential employees. So make as many friends as you can. Ensure that those people are people who can be able to help you sometime in life. You may not know, but the person you're seated next to may be the next CEO in the next 5 years in a particular company. Yeah? You may not know that that may be the best in IT in the world or even in Kenya. So it's very good you look into networking, and networks start from now, wherever you are seated. Of course, if you're looking into getting to the different countries or looking into different job prospects, how well is your CV written? Are you writing it in the traditional way? Are you writing it the modern 2021 way? Please don't just write a CV. I was so surprised to hear a month ago. So a company, a very prime company in Kenya had advertised a job opportunity. And very many, they were only looking for 5 people to get into that company. And this is what happened. So they received over 10,000 applications for that job. And do you know how they were able to cut that down to 50? The first thing that happened is, you see how you've written your email address. So whenever you send that CV, so for example, my email reads as, say, 2021, the best man. That's how the email reads. So when the company receives the email, it's automatically spammed. Automatically spam. It does not read your 2 names. There's no way in my CV I would be the best man in 2021. Or there's no way my name on my ID would be whatever we are calling ourselves on those emails. So from 10,000, believe it or not, that system, that software was able to cut down the applications to 1,000. Even without having to call anyone for interview, or even without looking at the qualification that the person has. So the world out there has become that specific. You write your CV, and then actually the font is not the same. Those are not things that you may think that actually count, but when that human resource person is looking at that CV, may be able to notice that and may see the fact that you are not someone who has a platform, as order, for example. So it's good you look into some of these things that we actually ignore, and those would be very, very important when you're looking for jobs. Again, if you see a job that is asking you to apply, you can only apply if you have 15 years of experience, and you've just finished university right now. Apply for it. Apply for that job. Most of the employers write the 15 years experience just to make sure that you don't apply. Waste their time too. Yeah? So if you see something that really fits you and the only thing you have is the experience, apply for it. If they say that you need a BA in communication, and you already have a BA in communication, and you've actually been the best in your class, you've been the person who has been making the presentations, you've been the person who has been talking to the lecturers, apply for that job. It's okay. There is no harm in trying that. You'd rather get that opportunity. And say that you are not accepted, as opposed to someone asking you later on, "I thought you saw an advert, and did you apply for it?" And you say you never applied for it. So try to grab as many opportunities as you can. And my previous speakers have particularly mentioned of importance is look at what else do you have. What other documents would you be submitting when you're making your application or when you're making a university application? And that is what exactly would be able to sort you out later on. To conclude, there are 2 types of students. Would you rather be paid 250,000 for 10 years? I guarantee you that. Or would you rather I pay you 500,000 per month and I don't give you the time frame? So maybe it could be 1 month, or maybe it could be 3 months, or it could be 10 years. Who are you? I have 2 options. I'm going to give you 250,000 for 10 years. I guarantee you that. Or I'm going to be able to give you 500,000, but I'm not going to tell you how many months I'm going to employ you. Who are you? Who are you? If you are with me saying that I'm going to pay you 500,000 per month for an untold time, then consider venturing into business. You may do very well there. That's a risk you're taking. So even if I pay you for 1 month, you're okay. You'll have invested that money. Even if I pay you for 10 years, doesn't matter. You still are doing very well and you've already started your own business. But if you're the kind of person who asks for the 250,000, you are a corporate person. So before you try attempting doing any business, first try the corporate world. None of them is right, none of them is wrong. Just depends with your personality, just depends with your interest. Some of us want to work for some companies for say 5 years and we grow up and maybe venture into our own business. That's right. Others don't want that. Others want to be employed by the government, for example, and you work there for as little or as long as 20, 30, 50 years. Still okay. Not a problem. So of importance is try to discover what you are or who you are, what your strengths are, and what would actually make sense to you when it comes to job application and when it comes to getting into different careers. And lastly, some of us are doing courses that we don't like, right? Some of us actually were forced by our parents or maybe the government to apply for medicine, and because the course was full, you ended up doing teaching. Some of us are doing that. There is no harm with starting afresh. I think you've seen enough memes that have been circulating that doesn't matter where you are. Some people started, and 5 years down the line, they failed. For example, COVID happened. Very outstanding businesses really went down during COVID. And some of those people are actually trying to piece up their life again. Others, like me and you, may not have had the opportunity to access education until the age of 25. 5 years later. Yeah? Some of us were given the opportunity early, but were not able to get a job, maybe again after 5 years. We are all different. If you find that you're doing a course that you don't like doing, fine. Finish the course, but before you start lamenting, try to look for what you wanted. Try to look for people who can be able to support you in what you want. And that way you can be able, or you can be sure that after 10 years or in the long run, then you'll be one of the best, doctors or engineers or whatever it is in your life. Thank you so much. We'll be around. We'll just be here. If you need any material about different universities, or if you need our contacts, or you need our numbers, or you need our flyers, we'll be definitely here to answer some of your questions about careers. And of course, we'll ensure that you land you in the best places in the world. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Dennis. And just to conclude, I also came with a colleague. She will just wave. Caroline, she's in charge of distance studies at Uniserve Education. So if you want to learn virtually, let's say in Canada, whatever country, but here in Kenya, you can talk to her. So to conclude this matter, as I've mentioned, there are so many jobs in Kenya. The problem we have today is that most of us are unemployable. You'll come and say, yes, I want a job in Uniserve. We report to work at 8:30 and we leave at 5. The following day you will tell me, you know, matatu, sararara, you come to work at 9. And there are so many things. So I just want to say this, that before you apply for that job, do a bit of background check. Check the company, know the location, know the branches they have, know their goals, their vision. No, before you go for the interview, don't rush for the interview and you have no idea what that company does. Of course, dress code was mentioned. I'll not talk much about that, but dress appropriately for the interview. Align what you've done with that job. So I'd love to hear something like, you guys, you send students to study abroad, and I've done business. I know how to do marketing. I know how to do ABCD. Align what you've done, your past experience, with what you want to do. What about your CV? You must have on that CV your contacts, that is your email address. Dennis has talked about those funny names. You can open another email address just for employment, you know, and don't write you what, you know, those things are just funny. They will not even reach some of the destination. Have your academic qualification on that CV. Have your experience. And let the CV has, you know, don't put a lot of details about the many details that you've done. Now, experience is a very good thing, and most of you have talked about, I've just graduated and you are looking for experience. What do we do? That is what we are saying today to you. Are you a volunteer in this school? What have you been doing for the last 4 years? You, as you are graduating, some people have volunteered in different clubs in this school. And you can talk about that. You can say, for the last 4 years in Chuka, I was involved in ABC. Some of you will say, Hesbon, you are talking to us, it's too late. We are graduating soon. We've been doing nothing in this school, extracurricular activity, blah, blah, blah. So we don't have experience yet. You can still volunteer after school. You can volunteer in religious institutions, in churches, in community. You can do something before you apply. But if you just graduate and you say, I have done nothing, let me give you an example. You buy a new car, a new brand car, and you put it on this road here. You want somebody to drive it for you to Nairobi. And you get somebody who has a driving license. He's never driven any car in his life, apart from the one they were doing, you know, the one that the one that they did when learning driving. But hata hii barabara kwenda mpaka Embu hajawahi enda. Will you give that person that brand new car and say, hey, anyway, you don't have experience, you just drive? It can't happen. No one will risk their business to give you something and you've never, and it's not right. And so many employers will shy away from that. Volunteer yourself, do internship, even if it's for free. It may sound like free, but you're getting experience. So as I finish, I will say this. As I leave this Chuka today, when I go back to the office tomorrow on Saturday, I'll find like 20 applications in my inbox. And I'll have some people in the office looking for jobs. The question is, what makes one to stand out in those applications? When you are sending an application, your headline and the cover letter and the attachment of the CV is very important. And by the way, just the documentation when you're looking for a job, some people send their transcripts. You attach you send your transcripts and you got second class, lower division. I want to advise you, if you know that your grades are low, don't send your transcripts. Just keep them. In case the employer wants them, you can provide. Because I look at some of those transcripts and somebody will tell you, I've done entrepreneurship. I have a bachelor's degree in entrepreneurship. I say, okay, give me your transcripts. Any course that is related to entrepreneurship, they got a D. Some courses like psychology or some additional courses, they scored well, some of them A, but the real course, they always score low. Very few people score the right grades in their the course of choice. And so don't be quick to send those transcripts when you're looking for a job. Keep them for yourself. If you are asked, provide them. I was going to forget that. So apart from you need to stand out, do something in addition, something extra. Then humble yourself when you're going for an interview. Like I think our chief guest talked about, you're going, or somebody else talked about, some of the people you are writing this CV to, they don't have bachelor's degree. Some of them are diploma holders. Some of them are relative of the owner of the company. So when you go, nyenyekea kidogo, okay? Some of you, like some of the CVs I see, somebody has not even stepped into a master's class. They say, oh, I have a bachelor's this and master's degree, ongoing. So you ask them, so how many semesters have you done in this master's program? I haven't started yet. I'm planning to. Then, like it has been said, there are so many jobs available. There are some companies, like our company. We were 62 before COVID. When COVID came, we went down to about 32. Now we are recruiting again to go back to 62. If you walked in today with your CV and you come to see me and you've done your thorough research and you qualify for the job, I will take you right away. I've done that before. I do it always. If you talk to so-and-so who knows so-and-so and so-and-so, and you send them and so-and-so calls me, and then you come. And you come entitled. You know, have you talked to so-and-so? Yeah, I've been sent by so-and-so. And you don't qualify. Even if you came that way, still you will not be taken. So I want to request that there are many jobs. You need to align yourself to those jobs. What we look for in most cases is character. We look for your character. We look for somebody who is disciplined. We look for somebody who is honest. Honest. How would you risk to employ somebody to take care of your things and that person is a lie? And the lies begin in the interview. The lies begin in that CV you are writing. Just last week I was interviewing somebody who had a bachelor's degree in hospitality. And I said, okay, how long did you do your diploma? 4 months. How many years did you do your bachelor's degree? 6 months. And we started doing, okay, how many units? Nothing was adding up. 0. And that's why it's good for some of you when you go. I mean, you guys have gone through the same. And there are many fake things. Somebody come with a diploma, and please, if you've done some diplomas before you came to Chuka, you can remove them from your CV sometimes. They don't help. Because you do your diploma, and you write the name of the diploma, and it was in town, or it was somewhere here. If you go to where you did that diploma, now it is a bar. If you check the email address, it's non-existing. The telephone number is not. Why do you put it on your CV? Because it will just land you into being dishonest. Some of those fake things, remove them from your CV. They won't add anything there. So honesty is very important. So I want to request you finally to say this. Begin your job on the right foot. Do not bribe. Do not bribe to get a job. You are a young person. You've done your studies. You qualify. You are okay. Do not bribe. I can tell you this, and I can say even through the camera. I have worked as a HR for the last 7 years in Uniserve. I have never taken a bribe to employ anybody. And I'm not going to take any. I have never. And if you bribe me, I won't take it. You know what bribes do? When you bribe somebody to take a job, you are like putting that person in their pocket. So they can't sack you. If I take your bribe, how will I sack you? If I'm to sack you. And then how will this whole situation end? You're going to say, hey, you know, I gave you money, now you are chasing me away. Please do not bribe. Do your diligence and do the right thing. I wish you all the best, and thank you for the opportunity to talk to you guys. Thank you very much.